We know that you've been consuming a lot of the real news these days, and that's important and good for you, but let's take a little bit of a break together and check out some board game news, of which there is no shortage in this Roll for Crit News Roundup.
Fantasy Flight has announced 2 big expansions for 2 of their very popular lines. First off, for the Arkham Horror 3rd Edition, we have Under Dark Waves. This is a big box expansion that actually comes with new tiles. Because you are not in Arkham anymore, this will take place in mostly Kingsport and Innsmouth. We have some new investigators. I know the new one I noticed is Stella Clark, who's a postal worker, but they've got some new mechanics. The one that sounds interesting is terror. Now, certain areas can get overrun if you played the game before, but this time, if that happens, there'll be terror added to that district. You will have to actually deal with a terror encounter now before you can deal with other encounters, so you're gonna have to be a bit more careful when things start piling up on you. We've also got, for Marvel Champions, The Rise of Red Skull. This was announced at Gamma. From the cover, you can guess Red Skull's involved, which also means Hydra. But we can also see Hawkeye as well as Spider-Woman. So 2 pretty big titles there. You know, these aren't small packs like we've seen before. They're pretty much almost the size of the cores for both of the games.
Yeah, Marvel Champions, you know, that we knew that it was going to be the blank of blank or something. I was trying to figure out the Guardians of the Galaxy, or no, it's Red Skull. Also, you know, we were kind of speculating maybe it looks like X-Men might come out, but it seems like that's not happening anytime soon. But Red Skull is a cool early box idea.
Well, what I like about this, and I hope they do with this, is that when we compared Marvel, looked at Champions, you know, we brought up Legendary. Why do you need that? One of the things I know for us, we've been a little sad about is that Red Skull is designed to be that intro head mastermind.
In Legendary, he's like the first villain you fight, right?
So he doesn't really have much. So this can help make him feel like that big bad he's supposed to be.
Yeah, that is kind of cool. And I'm also really excited about the Arkham expansion. You know, it seems like now that when they finally got the last expansion for it, the first one, and now, not too long after, they're really going all in on another even bigger one. Like you said, new mechanic, and obviously the new characters is exciting.
No, I mean,
more stuff.
It's nice to go to the other locations. And I'm curious to see how that works with the bases. It's just like we're going to ignore all the bases or use that, because if you remember, 2nd edition, they were their own little boards. I'm curious to try it out. Both of these sound really nice, and I think both games could use it.
Game designer Brad Andres has announced that he will be leaving Fantasy Flight Games. You may be familiar with his work from various LCGs, including Legend of the Five Rings, and most recently he was the lead developer of KeyForge, Fantasy Flight's unique card game, which was designed by Richard Garfield. He made this announcement just recently in a Fantasy Flight live stream, and while he was sad to go, he did say that he's looking forward to what he's going to pursue in the future, and he believes that the rest of the team is in a good place, that he's leaving KeyForge in good hands. So this is probably a bigger deal for people who are deeper into the KeyForge meta currently, in terms of, you know, he had a big part in how new cards were coming out and how they developed and things like that. Whereas if you're, you know, just a casual KeyForge observer player, I assume that the team, maybe I'm being optimistic, they'll be able to step in and kind of take over these roles. But it is significant in noting that this is not, we've seen a bunch of these departures from Fantasy Flight over the last year, even just the last few months. Christian Peterson, they shut down, you know, most of their RPG division, all this stuff. So I don't know. It seems to me from what I've read that this is not related. I don't think there's like any reason they're all leaving, but it does seem like another thing that's making things harder over there for them to get stuff done.
Well, I mean, not harder. You're just also worried when the people with all the name recognition are sort of leaving. You're like, what's going to happen to our games? I know they're going to keep growing, but are they going to get even more stale? Where's that creativity? Because that's the thing we're always worried about with Fantasy Flight. They haven't been making new games as much as, I mean, we started off with expansions that we're excited about, but you know, with an expansion, you do want something like that makes it worthwhile, I guess.
And I think so far they've done a decent job at that. I think KeyForge has done a good job at that. You know, they just put out the Worlds Collide, and I think it's pretty well received. They have new factions, all this stuff coming out. Dinos. So I think that it will continue to be successful. But yeah, like I said, it's really just, this by itself isn't that huge of a deal, and I'm curious to see what he's going to do next. But with all these other things, you know, it's Fantasy Flight today is not what it was a year ago. It's just really a very different makeup, I think, in many departments. So we'll see exactly how that continues to shape their games in the future.
If you watch this channel regularly, you know that we are fans of Gale Force 9 as well as movies like Alien. So we were really excited that they got the property Alien for their own game. The game titled Alien, Another Glorious Day in the Core, right now is still slated for around Q3. We're not 100% sure, but we now know 2 new expansions are coming to it. First off, we have Ultimate Badasses, which is just a bunch of really cool Marines. But then we have another one titled with the famous quote, "Get away from her, you bitch." If you don't recognize the quote, that's when Ripley takes out the power loader armor against the Queen Alien, and those are the 2 minis included in that expansion. Other than that, we don't know much, but I mean, that second one has it's the coolest scene in some of the Alien movies, and it's nice that they're getting minis in this game.
Yeah. I mean, so this is weird. So we've been following this game for a long time, and we even played a really rough demo version of it, and we weren't sure if maybe it kept getting delayed because it wasn't ready. Maybe it's licensing issues because of the whole Disney Fox thing. Mm-hmm. But this announcement does, I think, give some hope that, this game is actually going to come out. It doesn't seem like they would want to announce these if they weren't really confident that this is happening. So that's encouraging. It is also one of those things where, it's the nature of the beast when a game comes out and immediately there's extra minis you can buy. I know it's common now with Kickstarter, but this is going straight to retail. So sometimes
you're right. And I will say these aren't big ones either. There's small things you can throw in, so I'm not as,
It's not. They're not making you spend another $50 or something.
We don't know the price of these.
It might be $50, but
at the very least, like I said, that second one has very important alien a very important alien moment being brought into the game. Mm-hmm. If you made an alien game, the Queen never makes an appearance. I think there's something wrong.
Yeah, that's true. Aliens,
right?
Make sure
aliens.
You say there's an S in there.
I'm going with the whole series.
Right. Okay, yeah.
But right now, once again, Q3 is all we really know. So, and of course, with the way the world's going crazy right now, who knows? But we'll let you know when we learn more about this menace.
A few new announcements coming out of Portal Games. For Robinson Crusoe, they have a new expansion titled Treasure Chest. This is a collection of promos that have been released previously at conventions or via their store, various other places they've been giving them away. It's going to have all of those in one convenient box, including some new scenarios, some new character cards, new beasts to hunt, all kinds of other things, some tokens and goodies in there for you, in case you missed them anywhere else. And for Imperial Settlers, they have finally released new details on the big box, which is meant to come out later this year. In fact, you can pre-order it now through their site. They've shown off exactly what it's going to look like. It's a double layered box with multiple compartments to hold all of the expansions for the original Imperial Settlers, as well as a new expansion that they said will be coming out soon. And it has a few cards in there that are new, plus an expanded rule book that includes the rules that encompass all of the titles from the expansions and changes that they made. And finally, there's a new game from Portal. It's called $1 Million Script. This is a party game. It involves improv and storytelling. 2 teams are going to compete to try to pitch the best movie script to one player who will be the executive. That executive is going to have their own personal preferences and goals, and they're going to, based on those goals, choose which team's pitch they liked better. And by the end of the game, you'll have some kind of a crazy movie that you can enact if you would like.
That big box, that's something you've been wanting for a long time.
It's really nice. That's the interesting. You can get for $5 cheaper, you can get just the box without the rule book or the new cards. Oh, it also includes, I should say, for the expansions, for the faction boards, they were cut in half to fit in the box, and you had to put them together. The $5 extra version comes with a full version of that, so you don't need to do that anymore, which is nice. Seems like for $5 they should just make that the only SKU, but I don't know what their plan is. I think they're only selling that, they said, through their website. It's not going to hit retail. So
that rulebook, though, I won't lie.
That's nice.
I know both Smash Up and Cthulhu Wars did a sort of omnibus rulebook.
That's nice.
It's very nice to have. So that's to me, that's the $5 thing to look at.
Right. Of course, Robinson Crusoe. It's cool that it's nice of them to put all the promos in a box.
Yeah. There's another company I think that should be doing that. We'll get to a little later.
Yeah. That's a good tease. And $1 Million Script, I recommend. There's actually a preview they did on Board Game Geek, and it looks really fun. It looks very much like a Whose Line party game. You're acting out, there's scenes where sometimes someone has to do sound effects, that kind of thing. Goofy. These should be coming out later this year. Some are scheduled for Essen, but who knows when things will move around, but we're excited.
This year at GenCon, they have announced that their author guest of honor will be R.A. Salvatore. He's a New York Times best-selling author, but you'll probably know him best for his work with Dungeons & Dragons. He was the creator of Drizzt, the infamous drow hero that many drow players now aspire to be, as well as other famous D&D inspirations and locations, including Forgotten Realms. He will be there doing a writer symposium, book signings, and other appearances. This is a pretty big person to be. I mean, Drizzt is a very well-known name in the Dungeons & Dragons world, and like I said, also other things, including Forgotten Realms, so,
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, I mean, he's written like probably hundreds of fantasy novels and things that are gaming adjacent or directly gaming related. He seems like a perfect fit for this role at Gen Con. So it's very, very cool and very exciting. Almost seems like he should just be there every year. He should just be the guest of honor permanently.
Oh, he is. He's just in drow cosplay.
Yeah, that makes sense. So that's exciting. And yeah, it's hopefully, right now I know a lot of people aren't super excited about going to conventions, but hopefully by the time this rolls around, Gen Con seems to be not slowing down. They're making announcements. They're excited and ramping up. So we'll stay positive about that.
So if you're excited and like his work, make sure to bring a copy of his books for him to sign at Gen Con.
I'm going to ask him what the RA stands for. That's what I've always wanted to know. Just a few weeks ago, CMON launched and had successfully funded their Kickstarter campaign for the game Marvel United. Well, there's been a little bit of an update that has ruffled some feathers amongst the backers. They announced that they are going to give backers the opportunity to opt in to what they call two-wave shipping. Essentially what it means is that Marvel United will be going to retail this coming August, and if backers want to receive their copy of the core set also in August, they're going to need to pay an extra charge for their shipping fee. They'll then receive the rest of the stretch goals, expansions that they got the following March. If they choose not to opt into this new shipping option, they'll simply receive everything, including the core set, next March, while it will still be hitting retail for the general public in August. Obviously, as you can guess, I mean, generally, if there's a news story that involves CMON and or Kickstarter, there's angry people in the comment sections. And yeah, this, they don't have a great reputation. Their things are always well funded, but they've had some things here and there. Obviously, there's exclusives, there's all this stuff, and it really doesn't seem like a great look to be putting something out at retail possibly well before many of your backers can play it,
So these are the way I've seen it. First of all, I have seen the two-tier shipping before, often with Awakened Realms.
But usually, if I'm not mistaken, isn't something they would announce up front?
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm getting to how
Get to it.
But one, they announce it up front. And I sort of get, in particular, because this is a Marvel title with Spin Master Games, that it might have come out before you get your copy. But granted, this is almost a whole year difference.
Yeah, it's a big difference.
This is the thing I think I didn't see too much talking about that I have an issue with. I mean, people sort of were, but not in the way. They announced that this is coming out this August. The base game, full of a bunch of minis, will be ready within 3 or 4 months of it. I've never seen a Kickstarter come around that fast, which to me means this wasn't, let's see if people have it. This was, we have this game printed pretty much already. Because as we know, a lot of factories are closing. There are a lot of issues, a lot of things that pushed. You'd expect to be pushed. It's not. It's close.
Right. Yes. It certainly lends more credence to the battle cry here often, which is that it's a pre-order system, right?
Right. That's to me the biggest issue. I don't see a lot of people talking about. I'm like, how in the world did you turn this so quickly?
It's also, it stings a lot that most likely this game will be available in August cheaper than they paid for it via Kickstarter. Most retailers will cut that price a little bit. So that really hurts. My other favorite thing about this story is the way that they phrased it in their update as if this was a really positive thing. They're like, good news, backers. We're giving you a new chance to get your game sooner. You have to pay more. This isn't really this isn't what people signed up for. But so kudos to the PR team for making that spin happen. But yeah, it's not good. I think it's a really bad look. The good news is you can get refunds.
That's true.
A lot of people have done so. I don't blame them.
We'll see if this does make a difference. I know for me, at this point, I'm very pessimistic when it comes to nerds who are actually rallying against stuff.
Well, I think in this case,
I think as soon as Ankh comes out, I know I'm still going to be like, ooh, Ankh's out.
I think the issue is most people backing this campaign are probably not hot board game players. It's Marvel. It appeals to a much larger crowd. They're probably people who they don't know why this is bad. Oh, new shipping, I'll get it in August. Okay.
Well,
they
I
might
think,
not even
in
notice.
fact, I think someone brought that up. Like, if you go to the actual comment section on the video, half of them are positive.
Yeah, so I don't know, but let us know how angry you are.
Let us know in the comments about any of these news stories or things you forgot. You know, are you excited for the Alien game, or were you a backer for that Marvel CMON game? And did either of us have opinions you think are completely wrong?
And do you say, come on, like they want you to?
Oh, right.
let us know anything like that, or about any of these other stories. We'd love to hear it. And stay tuned, because there's more coming up in the week. And stay safe and stay healthy and wash your hands. Just always a good reminder. Don't share pieces with people you don't know. Guys, this has been Roll for Crit. I'm Jonathan.
I'm Will.
And this was a news roundup.
We would love it if you liked and subscribed to this channel and supported us on Patreon as well.
If you choose to support us, turn to page 25.